On the table in front of me, I've got 1 week of running gels. It cost me $50. I've been running a lot right now. But right here in my hand, I have the same amount of carbs as these running gels, but I made it myself for $9. Welcome endurance athletes to my video on DIY nutrition. If we haven't met yet, I'm an average trail runner, an average ultra runner, and I do it for the love of the game. With that said, my goal is to not let my discipline or bad choices keep me from reaching my full potential. So I'm trying to see how fast I can get, but I don't know if I'm the most genetically gifted. But maybe I am, and I just haven't been doing it long enough. So I made this video going deep dive into hydration and nutrition for beginner long distance runners. And I covered a ton of stuff there, and I quickly mentioned that I've been making my own nutrition, but I've been liking this as much or better than the stuff I've been buying. And then when I did the math on it, I was like, holy cow, I'm saving a lot of money. If you are triathlon training or ultra running training or intense marathoning, and you're like getting 10, 15, 17 hours of cardio in a week, you're gonna want a lot of nutrition to keep your body ticking. The benefits of making your own nutrition is that it costs less money. It also gives you complete control over the ingredients. You're not throwing away packets all the time. You can actually use reusable packets. And let's face it, it's kind of fun. But there are cons too. It takes time. Not a ton of time, but it would be quicker just to order some online. Shelf life is reduced when you make your own. You can freeze it and refrigerate it, but there's no preservatives, which could be a good thing, but at the same time, it's harder to store. The benefits to buying your own nutrition is that it's convenient. You can pretty much get the exact same kinds anywhere in the world you are. You can get it shipped to you. You can go into running stores, so you can use something that you know your gut handles no matter where you travel. The two big cons is that it's pricey and you don't have complete control over the ingredients. There are 2 recipes I'm gonna cover today. The first one is energy bites. These are fantastic, and I use those zone 3 and below, zone 1, 2, 3 training. And then I use the gels for all types of training, and we're gonna cover that secondly. Let's go now. First, starting off with the foundation of our own homemade nutrition, dates. Then you're gonna want some peanut butter powder. The big difference from peanut butter powder to peanut butter is peanut butter powder, they extract the fat out of it. And fat's not the best for long distance running. 8 grams of protein, which we don't care for too much, but it does have 6 grams of carb and adds a lot to the taste and consistency of these energy bites. Your favorite oats or oat powder. Next, we're gonna pick up some applesauce. Next, an optional ingredient, chocolate chips, but the mini, small, tiny ones. Okay, we're gonna make these like any protein bites, except these are carb bites if you notice the ingredients. And I'll give you the complete macro breakdown and how much carbs is in each bite, as well as the cost. You're gonna turn your oats into oat powder. You can also, I think, buy oat powder separately. I always just blend it up. So, blend up 1.5 cups of oats. Blends up super quick. You get this powder so that you can digest it easier and you don't have to like chew it. Dry ingredients first. So I've got my oats, then I'm gonna get my peanut butter powder. You could totally exclude this. I think it adds a little bit to the taste. 1/2 cup of peanut butter powder. And this is the amazing thing of making your own nutrition is you can do whatever the crap you want. Next in the blender, we're gonna mix up our dates with our applesauce. I'm gonna hit this one up with 2 cups of applesauce. Then our magic ingredient, dates. Dates are so high in carbs, so good for energy. Shoot, you don't even have to do any of this. You just take the dates with you. I take dates with me, but if you want to mix it up, this could be more palatable. I'm going to do this entire bag, which is filled with tons of goodness in there. Got our dry ingredients in the bowl, wet in here, blender. I like to blend it pretty good. That way you don't get big chunks, and that's nice while you're running. Now you've got this creamy, datey applesauce mixture. We're gonna add that to our dry ingredients to be able to make these really nice little morsels of delectable richness to enhance your energy while you are becoming Superman out on the mountains. There is, however, a warning of extra pleasure from eating your own nutrition. Sure, you may screw it up and it tastes like crap, but you'll have that knowledge that you're the one who blended it, and that alone makes you run further. Now, kind of the odd ingredient to this mixture is that peanut butter powder, but you really cannot taste it much, and I just noticed that the consistency becomes much better. I guess you can blend up more oats and just exclude the peanut butter powder, but it'd be lying if I said I didn't use it, so I'm just gonna show you what I do. I'm looking for like just about peanut buttery consistency. Now we have these little tiny itty bitty chocolate chips, which I find adds just a little bit of texture and a little flavor. So this is more about enjoying the eating it than it is about the nutritional value. Although, what are the carbs in here? 9 grams of carbs. I mean, it's not gonna hurt you at all if your stomach can handle it. Going in with half a cup chocolate chips. It looks like you're getting a peanut butter chocolate bar, but don't be mistaken. It just tastes fruity from the applesauce and dates. So think of more like a something fruity and chocolatey. Now we're gonna grab some wax paper. I'm gonna cut them into little squares. Just a spoonful of this good stuff right in the middle there. So the real test, I had my wife try these out and she liked them, but she did have one tweak for them. She said, add some coarse grain salt and this will balance out the sweetness. And it totally did, because there's so much date and applesauce in there. It's too sweet, kinda, but the salt made a difference. Twist it like a little Tootsie Roll. Now it doesn't really matter how much is in each one. I just like them to be consistent so that I'll calculate all the carbs for the total batch, and then I can divide it evenly if they're pretty consistent in size. Now that our delicious morsels are created, I put them in a bag and then I put them in the freezer. Now once you pull them out of the freezer, they look like this. And when you open them up, it is just a nice little morsel to eat while you're running. Now the way I've been doing it is I've been carrying this for anything less than half marathon. And so I'll be able to just toss 3 of these in like this, and I am good for a 10 to 13 mile run. But do you know what is crazy? I broke down the numbers and this is even better than I originally thought. So we got 35 units from this batch. That breaks down to each morsel is 12.5 carbs, 1.4 grams of fat, and 1.7 grams of protein. If you take 2 at a time, 2 is equal to 1 full gel, which is 25 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fat, and about 3 grams of protein. Take this gel for example, 25 grams of carbs, 0 protein, 0 fats. What about this one? Well, we've got 19 grams of carbs, 0 protein, and 0 fat. 6 grams of fat, 19 carbs, 1 gram of protein. You see what I'm getting at? Taking 2 of our date fruit mix thingies, our little morsels, equals 1 gel, but it gets better. Since 2 of them, as far as the macro goes, equals a gel, that means 17.5 gels equivalent of nutrition here. But the cost, I'll lay out all the numbers here on the screen for you, comes out to $7.58 total, which is 43 cents for 2 of these. Recently, while I was at the running store, Spring Energy, $4. Merton gels, $4. Muir, $3.30 each. To have as good or better ingredients for 43 cents instead of $4, we're talking about 7 to 10 times cheaper than a gel by making these yourself. After you finish eating it, you'll likely want to chase it down with some liquids, and the effect on me is the same feeling as taking a gel, so I can't complain. But what if you want to make your own gels? Check this out. I always forget how to say this. Muir, I think, is the brand. Probably my favorite gels recently. It just tastes very fresh. So I was trying to duplicate that with the gels I made myself, and now I've got a new favorite. First, you're gonna pick yourself up some baby pouches. They're reusable. They've got a Ziploc on the side, and then you seal them off, and then the screw top opens up, and you can drink it from there. But with this next recipe, we need to change the consistency so that it's fluid. That's the main difference between these two. We purposely added the oats to make that less fluid. Now this is gonna be a little bit more fluid. Okay, I'm pulling out the scale for this one. If I'm really paying attention to carbs and calories and stuff, I always recommend weighing because it's more accurate than using cups. But we're gonna hit with 150 grams of dates. Toss those into our blender. 1 cup of applesauce goodness. This is mixed berries from the frozen section. Of course, you could flavor this with whatever fruit you like most. We're gonna come in with 2 cups of fruit. Then I've been needing just a splash of water to get it to blend. And because this is my speed workout mix, I like to go in with some sugar. 1/4 cup of coconut sugar, just adding some more carbs and makes this thing sweet. So optional, but delicious. Blend. Let's go, baby. Something to note real quick is these nozzles are quite small compared to like ripping the top off of a gel. So you don't want any chunks of fruit left in here. If the chunk's big enough, it'll get clogged in there. I'd recommend though, from my testing, to just go a little bit thinner. It tends to be better than thick. Something too thick on speed workouts is just hard to get down. And that's what these ones are intended for me, is like long efforts or my speed workouts where I am going pretty quickly, which for me is like marathon pace, half marathon pace, those type of workouts. This stuff just gets in the system so quick, and you feel it. You feel good, man. You feel good. Next, I find it easy to transfer to a device you can pour out of, so where there's a little pitcher tip. Quick note on the pouches. This pouch is a 5-ounce pouch, and you'll notice if you look at gel pouches, they're 1 to 2 ounces generally. So this 5-ounce pouch makes 2 gels in one. Note, you can buy different size pouches, 3-ounce, 5-ounce, 7-ounce. There's probably more out there as well. So if you want to hit a specific amount of carbs per pouch, you can optimize for that. Filling them is simple. The issue is overfilling them. So you fill them about 3/4 of the way full, and then when you pinch it, it'll kind of seal that edge. See right here, it's not full, but then as you start to pinch it, thins it out, and you can overflow it really easily. But that one, we nailed. Boom, you've got your pouches. Let's break down the numbers. This batch will make 5 5-ounce containers of gel, which equals 10 normal gels. It's about 40.5 grams of carbs per packet. Proteins and fats are basically non-existent on this one because we don't have the oats and peanut butter powder. $5.73 to make this batch of goodies. Now, with that being said, that comes out to a voiceover correction, $1.15 per pouch or 57 cents per gel. If you have some good running shorts, it is not inconvenient at all. I'd say probably more than 2 in a pocket's gonna be uncomfortable. Now, I don't eat 40 carbs at once while running, so 1 gel I treat as 2. So I just have half of the pouch at a time and then the second half later. On a recent run, I did an 18-mile hill long run, and I was able to take with me 3 of these pouches, and during that long run, it was basically like having 6 gels. I was able to spread out 6 different eating times every 25 minutes throughout the run, and it fueled me consistently the entire time. And I only had to bring 3 of those pouches with me. When you go to store this stuff, I think in the fridge with the ingredients, probably a week would be good, but you can go ahead and just put basically all of them in the freezer, except the ones you're gonna use in the next 2 or 3 days is probably the best idea. And then just transfer from the freezer to the fridge every time you might pull one out of the fridge. So if you're looking to save money, I hope I helped you with that today. Hit up some Walmart, buy the fruit in bulk, buy the dates in bulk, go to Costco, do what you gotta do, and you can reduce your running cost from maybe $200 a month in nutrition when training for a marathon down to about $20 a month, 1/10 the cost. There you guys go. I hope this was useful. If it was, just go implement it and that'd make me happy. Be nice to someone today, and I'll see you on the next video.
Sing me a sweet song.